cultural preservation. Once, a wise person once known, the best time to plant a tree is 50 years ago. The next best time is today. Today is the next best time to plant a tree. First of all, I would like to ask all of you, what is culture? What is the meaning of culture? Culture is actually our touchstone, our point of reference, and our identity. Without culture, we will lose our identity because every single community and society in this world has its own specific culture. For instance, the Malay are known for their wayang kulit, while Chinese for their mooncake festival. I love the mooncake. Unfortunately, culture is not only about art and heritage, but culture is everything about us and everything around us, such as languages, art, ideas, costumes, rituals, beliefs, institutions, and many more. You can read. Unfortunately, our culture faces several threats that can simply destroy it in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye. So, as youth, these threats are something that we need to overcome in order to preserve our culture. One of the threats is war, political, ethnic, and religious conflicts. When war occurs, the victor or the majority will take over the defeated, and they will slowly get rid of the original culture. And at the same time, they will introduce and implant their own culture into the native minds. Furthermore, irresponsibility and neglect can cause our culture to deteriorate and diminish. Without further action in preserving culture, our culture will disappear. But nowadays, the people tend to neglect culture because of their way of thinking that culture is not important to them compared to other things such as chasing after wealth. Besides that, globalization also poses a big threat to the survival of culture. The communication and interaction in this world between countries have become more advanced, causing the spread of foreign culture into the local culture. So youth who are more vulnerable will be attracted to imitate the foreign culture and indirectly abandon their own culture. Moreover, reckless development and destruction of cultural heritage sites. This happens due to the perception that culture is not important to our life. Okay? Why is this important for youth to preserve culture? This is because they are the next generation who will ensure the survival of culture. And we are the ones who are responsible for continuing our culture for the next 10, 100, or even 1,000 years. The burden of the survival of culture rests on our shoulders. If the culture disappears, our children or grandchildren will not experience what we experience right now. Maybe in 40 or 50 years' time, our children will forget, will not recognize their own culture. So it is important for youth to preserve their own culture. Therefore, there is an urgent need to engage youth in preserving culture. How do we do this? The first way is through education, because education can inform youth about the importance, the significance of culture, and train them on how to preserve culture. The knowledge about culture can be taught to students through cultural studies. What is cultural studies? Cultural studies is actually a learning program where local and international culture can be taught to school students. program also can expose students to cultural preservation. Okay. Such learning program in school can help students to recognize their own culture and indirectly instill a sense of love and care towards their culture. This, this sense of care will make them preserve their own culture. Other than that, the school, the school is a melting pot of culture where students, where youth from different cultural backgrounds integrate and interact with each other. So it is an ideal place for the exchange of knowledge about culture and for youth to learn to respect other cultures. Okay. Besides education, awareness also plays an important role in engaging youth to preserve their culture. Awareness in the hearts of youth will make them realize that culture is important and significant for them, and it is their responsibility to preserve and ensure the survival of culture for tomorrow. How are we going to instill awareness in the hearts of youth? We can make campaigns, expos, to instill awareness into their hearts. For example, according to UNESCO, nation, our country, has organized heritage festivities to promote culture at national and international levels since 2002. We also need to instill interest into the hearts and minds of youth, because awareness alone is not enough. Youth must be interested in safeguarding their culture. They might be aware that their culture is in danger, but without interest, they will not take any action in preserving their own culture. Okay. How are we going to instill interest in the minds or hearts of youth? Maybe we can organize a competition about culture, so the youth from all over the world can join the competition. While they are researching, doing research for the competition, they are actually learning about their culture. Okay, now I will pass my presentation to my friend.
So after the youth has know about culture and they have awareness about culture, so do we just leave it there? So right now, what we have to do is we have to arrange campaigns to programs for the youth involved directly with preservation of culture. So the first thing that we can do is the apprenticeship program. So what is the apprenticeship program? It's a program where we gather people around the world that it has a knowledge about the culture, to teach the youth about the culture itself. Because culture, like wayang kulit, batik making, is not something that we can read books and immediately we know how to make batik. So the mentors of the youth can teach the youth how to make batik and do wayang kulit and empower them as the guardians of culture. And the next program is we can do a volunteer program. The volunteer program is instead of using a professional people, we could use the youth who already know and are very interested in culture to be the tour guides, the cultural heritage guides, and the museum guides. In this way, they will themselves, as they love culture, they will be the ones who explain to other people like the tourists about the culture itself. Because when the youth explain about the culture, they will know more things about the culture and they will be more interested about the culture and they will know how important it is, our culture to our country. And the third program is the culture exchange program. The culture exchange program is where we exchange youth from another place or with another place, so the youth can have a mutual understanding with them. Because when we practice other people's culture, we will have a more understanding about them. We will eliminate discrimination. We will have understanding why do they do this, why do they do that. Because cultural networking. We'll do a site where the youth can throw out their opinions, throw out their what they think that they can do for the culture preservation, and why they think that culture is so important. And as the technology is very wide, so it is very effective way in promoting culture to the world. And so to conclude, culture is something we have practiced for millions of years now, and not be, and just because of the we are neglecting it, or just because we are not very interested and we're chasing about the modern technology, why do we have to abandon culture? Because it is our identity. So what we need to do now is we as a youth stand out and take a very important responsibility to protect culture and to continue the preserving culture. That's all of us. Thank you.